in the morning. You got me up, all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, this kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say, we gon' be okay, we just gotta boom, bada boom, ba. I don't wanna fight, you know that I'm right, baby, let me talk to your body. We gon' be okay, hear me when I say.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
Just me, myself, and I'm my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, it had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted.
Like whoa,
bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me.
I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on a shirt before a centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, deadly too. Play the keys, don't tweet. It's not peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this link. Family on my side, baby stay around me.
I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play the sun and still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the side like it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop, pop, like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I want the checks, yeah.
I don't want the second, I want best.
I want best, yeah.
By any means, that's a triple threat.
A triple threat.
Yeah, this is getting bigger, I might
Flex.
I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I hit recorded, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go up like that money clip us now, the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip, neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib, neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick, neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the dip. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way, I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, don't no say. Okay, this the news, tell them read it. Been the one since a fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go up like whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like whoa, whoa, whoa. I press the button and the doors go up like whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like whoa, whoa. They know, 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 they know. Tunnel vision when I hit the holly. Working on that cause my mind is on an island. Told my babies I'll be homeless, so don't stay up. Breaks my heart to see them sad, so I won't wait up. Need it all that's mine, I need it now. I lost my patience the same week I lost my smile. My baby pressed me, said I'm acting like a child. I took some L's, can lie, that really brought me down. I'm so antisocial, but I guess it's type selective. Swear I'll make a change, but for now I just can't help it. Only trusting God in these cars that I've been dealt with. I'ma do my job, time to grind, time to know. They know, 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 they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know. Save for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know. Why you never sign? You sign when you go live. Stuck inside that bubble, never ever go outside. You don't know you know computers, you're a tech guy. Back against a wall, you gon' fall or you gon' ride. I feel the pressure, foot to the pedal. My dogs, they fed up, my squad won't let up. Those sneakers CDG, hot on step on. My money yoga, the weight is stretch on. I change locations to change the weather. Know when that rain come, got my umbrella. And when my day come, my name gon' stay up. Yeah, I know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gonna don't let up, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. They know, yeah they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so fed up, they know.
All right. If you guys can hear me, press 1. If you guys can hear me, please press 1. I need everyone to hit press 1. I don't know how true this is about the death of Kevin Samuels. I got notification today at about 6:10, a close colleague of mine that knows Kevin and his associates. I got confirmation a few minutes ago that Kevin Samuels passed away in Atlanta. Now, if it's 100% confirmation, I don't know if it's 100%, but that is the sentiment that Kevin Samuels, who was a great advocate for male rights and male empowerment, accordingly has passed away. But the thing that's pressing, guys, in my mind about the passing of Kevin Samuels is this, and I'm going to give the evidence. I just literally got off the phone with a young lady a couple of minutes ago. She's knows sources in Atlanta, foot soldiers in Atlanta, and they said that it is true indeed that he did pass away. But here's the troubling thing about the passing of Kevin Samuels. If it's 100% confirmed. Right now, I'm hearing that he has. It's the level of hate and the level of vitriol. The level of hate and the level of vitriol associated with that man. You know, one of the things I've done when I started this channel, the YouTube channel, The Manhood Chronicles and the Kosher Clinician, was I often said is that as men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but we come together as allies of a common cause only to dissipate once the crisis is over. It lets me know, guys, that there's a crisis in heteronormative masculinity, that when people rejoice over the death of a man. And it also confirms my suspicion that true to the edicts of theology, that the gospel said that in the last days, they would not love the truth. And it appears now that people don't love the truth. You can tell the truth in a positive way, or you can tell it negative. They don't love the truth. Some got mad at Kevin recently when they said that, you know, he said that some modern women are leftover women. And that's not something he said. That's what happened in China. After a certain age, they're considered to be leftovers. But people are rejoicing because it shows the depravity in the heart of so many of these modern women that we're dealing with. It's not all. Shout out to the good sisters that are striving. And shout out to the good women that are trying to be examples and trying to love and to support their men. But as I told you before, guys, in the past, many of these women got the spirit. They got the spirit of the hyena. They got the spirit of the hyena. I've never in my life seen it so bad as it is now, that people would love the truth over error. And you know, whether you like Kevin or not, whether you agree 100% of the things he said, the brother was spot on with a lot of things. And if it's 100% confirmed, it's hurtful. I would be lying if I didn't say that it's not hurting. But anytime men begin to speak out, anytime men begin to voice their opinions or voice their disdain, it's always met with a level of ill repute. It's always met with contempt. It's always met with a level of darkness. And you guys are beginning to see the witness of something dark now, where some of the people or some of the women that call themselves supporters of men and male rights are actually sitting back laughing. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm about to show it to you. But once again, I do have breaking news, according to my colleague, and those that are close. They're saying that he did pass away. One of the young ladies called me about a few minutes ago before I started the show. I said, well, I heard that, that it was speculated that he didn't, or it's not confirmed, but she said that they got breaking news in Atlanta that he indeed did pass away. And so at some point, guys, we're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about what Kevin Samuels meant to you, what he meant to you as it relates to manhood. Because see, so many men fell in love with Kevin Samuels, regardless of how he delivered the message, because Kevin Samuels was an icon of what we call truth. And so the question remains, men, is this. If Kevin Samuels did pass away, is his death the death of truth? Is Kevin Samuels' death the death of truth? And if it is the death of truth, then what are the implications for you single men moving forward? Because anytime men begin to speak up, anytime men begin to more or less tell their story and talk about the level of disdain associated with their story, it's always met with a backlash. As a licensed therapist, I heard so many times where men feel like they can't speak, they can't say what they want to say. And Kevin Samuels, to a lot of men, he's an icon. He was the truth that so many men wanted to say, but they couldn't say it because they were fear or afraid of retribution. And that's what the hyenas do. The hyenas rejoice when they see strong masculinity under attack. The hyenas rejoice. And it makes me wonder, because I've heard Kevin say several times that the doctor told him about, drinking so many Red Bulls. And Kevin was a hard worker, very tenacious worker at that. But we're living in some very dark times, man. One of my colleagues told me he just left this whole YouTube thing alone. Because anytime you try to associate anything with masculinity and male empowerment, you're going to get the hyenas. And they're going to come at you because, just like the spirit of Jezebel, they don't want the truth. They don't like it when masculine men speak up. They don't like it when men tell their story. They don't like it when men have an identity outside of this gynocentric culture. And so, based on what I'm hearing, the confirmation is true. But once again, we live in a world where they say they don't love the truth. The world does not love the truth. I didn't say it. Theology said it better than me. I'm not trying to push religion on you, but the gospel said a time will come where they wouldn't love the truth. And regardless of the person that's disseminating that truth, then the truth is the truth. And people that refuse to hear the truth and those that reject the truth have thinking errors. And you're beginning to see the manifestation of those thinking errors more so now than ever before in human history. As a licensed therapist, a lot of these men and women think that their ego is syntonic, meaning they think that what they're supposed to be thinking is right. And that is a byproduct, guys, of delusional thinking. It's a byproduct of delusional thinking. Anytime men begin to speak out and proclaim the truth, it's a byproduct of delusional thinking. I can't really wrap my head around it, man. I just lost my sister about 2 months ago. And so much has been going on ever since then, man. Kevin just did a couple of shows a couple of days ago, man. And, I'm like, man, the man's the hardest working man in the world. But I want to tell you guys something. I want you men to start loving yourselves, man. Take care of your health. Don't fight and joust with women that don't mean you any good. If she's not going to honor and respect you as a man, don't argue with them. Just keep it moving. Because, see, people get mad at me, guys, when I tell men they have the right to self-determination. When you have good brothers like Dr. T.S. Johnson that talks about male empowerment and male advocacy. There are some men that listen to me. I don't agree with 100% of everything that they say, but Kevin Samuels was an inspiration to a lot of people. He was responsible for a colleague of mine that I know, Dennis Sperling, finding his wife. But the level of hate and the level of disdain in these modern times, guys, is appalling. And it's a thinking error. It's a sign of mental sickness. It's a pathology. Anytime men or women speak out and proclaim the truth, they become enraged because they don't want to hear the truth. They will attack you. They'll have your channel shut down. They'll do everything in their power to derail you or stop you for proclaiming the truth. And it's sad. But not only is it sad, gentlemen, it's disgusting. Kevin Samuels was an advocate for therapy. I never met the man in person, but he was an advocate for therapy. And some of the ones that are listening are in need of therapeutic treatment. They are in need of therapy because they're dealing with a lot of unconscious pathologies. They're dealing with a lot of unconscious things that's causing them to more or less use people like Kevin Samuels as scapegoats to displace their aggression. Because that's what happens when people don't want to hear the truth. They become scapegoats. They become scapegoats because they don't want the truth. Elon Musk just bought out Twitter here recently. And Elon Musk said that moving forward, Twitter would be a platform where people could tell the truth. But we live in a time, sadly, where folks don't want to hear the truth. When heteronormative masculinity is made manifest in its full form, they don't want to hear the truth because the truth is an indictment to the pathology that's going on inside their head. You got a bunch of men, too, that don't want to hear the truth because they're beta males, they're simps. They have the spirit of the hyena because they've never been raised in families where the women have more or less honored or respected their men. And everything that Kevin Samuels trying to personify, whether you like his delivery or not, whether you felt like his tone sometimes was condescending, is irrelevant, but it was still the truth. He was one of the few clarion callers that spoke out. He was one of the few clarion callers that had the temerity to speak truth to power. And see, Kevin Samuels, guys, did what a lot of preachers won't do. They won't speak truth to power because they're more concerned about money and lying to our women than telling them the truth. Because see now, truth now is the new hate. Truth now, guys, is the new hate. Telling women the truth is the new hate. Telling men to be men is the new hate. All because, folks want to see the community better. But many men are saying there is no community. Many men are saying, what is the benefit of a community where the women won't submit to the authority of the man? Many are saying, what is the benefit of a community where, our women don't show honor and respect to the men that they want to lead them? Many are saying, what is the benefit to the community or to a community where they've been devoid of masculinity? Many are saying, what is the benefit of the community when they were on their ascension and the community didn't support them on their ascension? And that's what our young men have to deal with. Many came to this man as a mentor. Whether you agree with him 100% or not is irrelevant. But there was a lot of truth in what he said. And people are rejoicing. If you don't believe, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But I did get firsthand breaking news and breaking knowledge that Kevin Samuels has passed away. Even though the reports are conflicting, I got firsthand breaking news that Kevin Samuels has indeed passed away. We're just waiting to corroborate it from other sources. Life is brief, gentlemen. Your time on this earth is brief. If the news is indeed truth, then Kevin Samuels know that his last day will have been today. There was a preacher in the past to say, what if tomorrow never comes? And some of you guys are still jousting inside your head on the illusion of love and the illusion of hope. Some of you are jousting on the illusion of love and the illusion of hope. Because some of you men still think that you're going to get what your grandfathers got. You think you're going to get what your grandmothers got. And the sad thing is this, the same people that you look up to And the same women that try to advocate for you, they're calling those women mammies. They're calling those women pick-me's. They're even fighting the women that speak up for you. And that's a mental health pathology. That's a mental illness. And I'm telling you, man, you're wasting your time fighting with women that don't honor, respect you, or understand masculinity or masculine respect. I've said before in the past that you got to burn the forest down and then you got to replant the seeds. You got to burn the forest down and then you got to replant the seed, because it takes a sick person to rejoice over the death of a man. I'm going to say it again. It takes a sick person to rejoice over the death of a man. Because see, Kevin Samuel's death, if it is confirmed to be 100% true, and there are reports that say it is true, Kevin Samuel to many was an icon of the masculinity that they never saw. Kevin Samuels and so many men in these male spaces were exemplars to what they never saw. But see, I knew at some point that the people that hate truth were going to attack this man. And the question remains is this: is it really him dying? Or is it something even sinister? Because anytime black men or any man or any group gets something that symbolizes or looks like a Messiah to the liberation of the souls and the spirits of men, something negative always happens. Something mysterious always happens. I'm telling you, man, we're living in very dark times, man. We're living in times to test the souls of men. There are some sick people in these YouTube streets. There are some sick people more or less disseminating on these YouTube platforms. Many of them have pathologies that have been undiagnosed. Many of them are ruminating in traumas from the past. Many of them are dealing with unresolved mental health issues. And because many times we don't more or less assuage or more or less understand or embrace mental wellness and mental illness, those mental illnesses go unchecked. A lot of our women, a lot of Western women, not all, shout out to all the good sisters that are striving to do the right thing. There are some honorable women, remnants of women that are trying to do the right thing. There are some sisters that listen to Kevin Samuels as he told them to look within themselves to help them uncover so that they can recover. I've had so many sisters. Shout out to Avery Woodley. Shout out to Chantel Simone. Shout out to Shalakemia Moffitt. Shout out to all those good sisters that say, I'm trying to uncover so that I can recover because I make mistakes. And they became better women because they listened to Kevin Samuels. They listened to the things that he decreed as a man. They listened to what he said about how to become a woman. He challenged their idiosyncrasies. He challenged their pathologies. He challenged their thought processes. He challenged their worth. And he said what many didn't have the balls to say. I would say it. But anytime men begin to speak out and say, this is what I want in a woman, our women, some of them, not all, many Western women have a schema affliction. And that schema is due to a fixation inside of their head, guys. And that schema leads them to have fear. Kevin Samuels talked about shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. He talked about it all the time. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's what he talked about. Anytime black men or any man, Western, white, or black, begin to speak out, it's first associated with shame. Then the shame goes to guilt. Then it goes to insults. And then it goes to the need to be right. As a licensed therapist, I came up with a concept called death. When you present them with the evidence, they deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue, do ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of attacking the messenger. And then they fight or flee. They become deaf because they have a cacophony inside their head that will not allow them to hear the truth. And that's what the gospel said will happen in the last days. They won't love the truth. You got people once again rejoicing over the death, allegedly, of Kevin Samuels. And I'm going to say it again. You don't have to like a person. You don't have to agree with them 1,000%. But I would never sit back and rejoice over the death of a man, because anything you attain on this side of earth, you're not going to take it with you anyway. You're not going to take your money, your cars, your resources to the other side. See, we all got a date with death and destiny. And when we stand before God, then God gonna say, may the works that I've done speak for me. So that's why I tell you, esteemed young men and older men and middle-aged men, never joust for power. Never joust to try to change the mind of somebody that's demented. Brush yourself off. Shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving. Because there are many guys that hate the fact that I advocate for men, if they can't find their wives here, to travel abroad. People get upset because they don't want you to have options. They don't want you to have preferences, because truth now, guys, is the new hate. Truth is the new hate for many men, and truth is the new hate for many women. And this new hate, guys, supersedes race. It's not predicated on race. It's not predicated on ethnic origin or our women. It's a Western issue. You look at the case of Johnny Depp right now that's going on. Look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a prime example of what's going on, and that's what's permeating there right now in society. Anytime people begin to hear masculine men speak out, that's why I did the Manhood Chronicles. That's why I did the Culture Clinician. I did the Manhood Chronicles because I wanted to see men empowered. But see, you know, anytime you tell the truth, people get mad. You'll start losing subs. You don't have to do anything wrong. That's why I tell you guys, when you get my content, share it. Share it with good men and women, because there are some good women that are trying. And I say shout out to those good women that are trying to change the law in their mind. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. They're trying to uncover to be a better version of themselves. Kevin Samuels was seen as an icon. He was seen as a man. He was seen as a person that was controversial, but Kevin Samuels had a lot of hate. He got a lot of hate. And who's to say that his death allegedly is something suspicious? I pray to God that it's not the case. I pray that everything associated with Kevin and what he believed in and what he stood for, I pray to God that it's not the case. I pray that it's not. But right now, based on my sources, one lady got breaking news from Atlanta. She said that she talked with her people and they said that he indeed did pass away. I'm gonna show you guys something, and I'm gonna show you the depravity of so many of our modern women, because it's sad. And guys, if I have not read those super chats, I will read them in a few minutes. Hold tight. So you guys see it firsthand. Hold tight. You guys are seeing it firsthand. This is what this woman is saying. Kevin Samuels called women over 35 leftovers. In less than a week, his ass became a bag of bones. Which priestess is responsible? And guys, I'm telling you right now that what you see manifesting, you guys don't believe the spiritual warfare is real. I'm one of the rare therapists to talk about things in the biopsychosocial, but also the spiritual model. Which priestess is responsible? I'm tipping today, and that's witchcraft. You don't believe it because you don't think it's real. And that's the spirit of Jezebel. Look at this foolishness. Look at it. You guys see it firsthand. You guys see it. Now, read this. We're going to read it. Reports are swirling on Twitter that the controversial figure and relationship guru, Kevin Samuels, has passed away. As it stands, this is largely speculative and most are scrambling for an official source. Kevin Samuels, 56, garnered massive fame due to his biting comments regarding women who women should date, using terms that suggest these women shouldn't be aspired to date outside of their league. To be fair, Samuel shares similar critiques and harsh barbs towards men, but those moments haven't gained the traction as the former. We've gathered reactions for Twitter, and we'll update you with the posts as they emerge. Now, listen, before Kevin Samuels began to more or less critique women, he did critique men. But you guys see it firsthand. Witchcraft. Witchcraft. It's a spirit of rebellion. It's a spirit of stubbornness. It's a spirit, men, of witchcraft. You're dealing with women right now that have that same spirit like these women. They have the spirit of witchcraft. They're rebellious. And so what Kevin tried to pontificate many times, he said, if you can't fall under the authority of a masculine man, then you buy a dog and die alone. Because see, men that are about their purpose and their mission don't have the time to fight with violent and disrespectful women. They don't have time for it. They don't have time for very violent and disrespectful women. They want women that can comply and be part of their program. But I've told a lot of these young men, if you can't find your wife here in America, then you focus on yourself or you begin to travel abroad. There are some good sisters that are striving to do the right thing. But once again, regardless of how you tell the truth in these modern times, they don't receive the truth because the truth goes against that syntonic ego of theirs. A dystonic ego means they don't like how they feel. But when you are delusional and when you suffer with delusional personality disorder, you like how you feel. Some of you men right now are dealing with women that have mental illness. Some of you men are dealing with women that have borderline personality disorders. You don't know it because you don't know what to look for. Many times they will gaslight you. Many times they can't see black, they can't see gray, they can only see black or white. Many of them have been victims of trauma, but many times it's happened to a lot of the men too. Narcissistic personality disorder is something that you see prevalent mostly in men. But a lot of Western women, if they don't have bona fide narcissistic personality disorder, they do have narcissistic traits. And once again, Kevin was an advocate for people getting therapy because see, therapy for a lot of folks in the past was calling on Jesus. And I'm not against that because Christ can give you a high level of consciousness. But in the multitude of counselors, guys, there is safety. And that's what he was striving for, more or less. And so if everything holds true, if what they're saying holds true, it's something that's very damaging to the core of all the brothers. Whether you like everything he said 100%, he still gave black men and men in general a level of visibility. But that's what happens when you speak the truth. The hellhounds gonna come for you. They'll make up stuff. Some of them had issues with Anton Daniels or any man that have a vestige of masculinity. You don't have to like everything they say. You don't have to agree 100% with what they say. But anything associated with masculinity, the hellhounds are coming. And if not the hellhounds, then damn it, it's the hyena simps. If it's not the hellhounds, it's the hyena simps. They start coming.
Let's go pick
They come for you because they don't want that syntonic ego of theirs broken. They want to remain in their dysfunction because some of them are dealing with unconscious pathologies and many of them are dealing with mental illness. And sadly, once again, guys, that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in where people try to tell them the truth and folks don't want to hear. Here's the second one. Hold tight. Here's the second one. Hold tight. And so, according to Pirana Nambia, Kevin Samuels has been known by many, and recently the social media influencer made headlines as Twitter had everyone convinced that he might be dead. As of now, it has not been officially confirmed, and it seems to be just another Twitter rumor. However, the fans have been concerned as the social media star has not broken his silence. And see, that's why people are concerned because he hasn't said anything. People are frustrated because he haven't confirmed the rumor or not. You would think that, perhaps he would do a lie to say, it's just somebody made the lie up. But if the man is truly indeed dead, it's very sad. It's very troubling at the level of rejoicing. I don't wish death on my worst enemy unless they've done something extremely egregious to me or my family. But the fact that people are rejoicing over the death of a man is scary, guys. That's troubling. Nonetheless, fans are hoping that he would come and engage with them as soon as the last post. And this was 18 hours ago. But I got the news at 6 o'clock in my office while I was seeing clients. And before I went live, I had a young lady to confirm it. She said that based on her reports in Atlanta, she knows people in Atlanta. They said that Kevin Samuels has indeed passed away. And, you know, she was heartbroken by it. She was hurt. She was noticeably upset. And guys, it's just a greater indictment of the distress and the troubled world that we live in. Shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland, man. Thank you, brother, for that $5 super chat. Thank you to Alton Prayer and also to Tim Howard for the 10. I appreciate it, guys.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
I'm going to drop the link, and we're going to talk about what Kevin Samuels meant to you. But also, guys, we're going to talk about the level of disdain and the level of evil and perniciousness that we begin to see manifest before our eyes. People are rejoicing over the death of a man. Some of these hyena simps are rejoicing because they were jealous. I would never wish death over anyone. Don't have to agree with a person 100%, but I would never more or less rejoice in the death of a man. And so once again, people are confirming, those that are close, they're saying that he did indeed sadly pass away. And it's unfortunate if it is indeed true. I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions. What did Kevin Samuels mean to you? What did Kevin Samuels mean to you? I'm going to be in a movie soon, guys, called Frustrated 3. I'm going to be in a movie with my friend El Guapo, Chris Strongheart, Dr. Ronald Neal, and a few other brothers. I'm going to be in the movie. And I'm going to tell you some of these men that are listening. We don't have time to have pity bickering amongst each other. We don't have time for it. Cast aside all our petty differences for the greater cause. Because there is an attack on heteronormative masculinity. And it's been percolating, guys, for a long time. So the link has been dropped. It's been dropped. And once again, guys, Big A says it's been confirmed. He says it's been confirmed. So Big A says it's been confirmed. Like Ram, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, man. Listen, you see the wickedness, man. Hold tight.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Hold on one second.
All right. So Mel, in the meantime, Chris Strongheart, hold tight.
How you doing, bro?
All right. So you guys see it, I see it. You guys see the perniciousness. You guys saw the rejoicing. Black Ram, many times, brother, you talk about beyond the shallows.
Mm-hmm.
What did Kevin Samuels mean to you? And if this is true, how's this going to rock the core of what looked like a very vibrant male movement, in your opinion?
Yeah, probably unknown to a lot of people. Kevin Samuels and I did a couple of collabs together some years ago. I did a show with him when he had, I want to say, less than 5,000 subs, and brought him to my channel. And we talked about style and fashion. And I remember one video he did with about myself and BGS Ibmore, where he was telling us about what colognes were pretty much fit our personality type. I mean, I have never heard anything like that before. The man was definitely brilliant when it came to style and fashion. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just a beautiful thing for him to say, hey, this particular scent will fit your personality, Black Ram. And I just thought that was amazing. And of course, I would run into him on Obsidian's network, and we would chop it up there. And we would run into each other on different live streams. Like I said, I did an interview with him many years back. And knowledgeable brother, brother who knew what he was talking about, a strong-minded and strong-willed brother. So I actually am somebody who was in real communication with the brother. Now, when he blew up a little bit, I didn't run into him as much because, he's busy man and got, millions of subs doing his thing. But before he was popular on YouTube, before everybody knew, before he became a household name, he was somebody that I would chop it up with on a regular. And I actually, now check this out. I literally now, because when people came on the show, listening to the show, they didn't like because he was talking about fashion and style. I literally changed my wardrobe because of him. And, I'll never forget when he told me, say, hey, Ram, if you're getting a cotton shirt, make sure it's Pima cotton. I said, well, Kevin, what the hell is that? Pima cotton. He said, it's a higher quality fabric. And ever since then, I changed the way I shop and the way that I present myself and my image and my style. So if that did happen to the brother, I know some people are saying it's confirmed. That is a terrible tragedy, and I feel bad, and my condolences to his family. He was somebody who was probably one of the most interesting men you ever run into. I mean, style, fashion, intelligence, sophistication, and he was really about the image of Black men, changing that image and creating a better image. He used to talk about not wearing Jordan gym shoes and all of these things to have more of a classier grown man style. And because of him, I went out and bought some Chelsea boots, made sure that my clothes fit. And because at the time when I was talking to him, when I did the interview with him, I was still wearing like I was living in the 90s. I would have my big baggy clothes, oversized shirt, oversized pants, like it's 1996 or 94. And he changed the way that I dressed and essentially changed the way that I was perceived. So, I will forever be thankful for him and the shows that we did together when he changed my mind. And again, when I was doing shows with him, he wasn't popular. A lot of people didn't like him. A lot of people said he was boring, but I saw early on that this guy had something that I think the world should know about. And lo and behold, he reached over 1 million subs, and he's probably the most popular Black man on YouTube next to the guy who does the cell phones. I forgot his name, the guy who do all the cell phone stuff. But besides him, he's probably the most popular Black man on YouTube. So yeah, man, his loss, if it is indeed true, he will be missed. It is heartbreaking to hear about something like that. And I'm gonna say this one last thing because I know you got other people up. I'm gonna say this one.
No, you're fine, man. No, you're OG, brother. You can talk.
That.
You can talk as long as you want. I mean, my man Chris, he gonna be in the movie with me, but I want you to talk because you are one of the originals. You have been in this space for a long time. You inspired
10
me.
years.
10 years, right? Black Ram guys, go check that brother out. Subscribe to his channel. He's been in this space for years. Absolutely. And he often talked about the esoteric. He often talked about the darkness of darkness. A lot of times people didn't want to hear it. But the fact, Black Ram, that you see so many women rejoicing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
What's your take on this, bro?
It's chilling, bone curdling. Because here's the thing. If you're celebrating somebody's death simply because you disagree with his viewpoint and perspective. So let's think about that for one moment. I have a perspective that you disagree with. And instead of just disagreeing with me on the merits of it, you are glad to see my demise. That's something spiritually and mentally wrong with a person or a group who would celebrate a man's death for simply disagreeing. They're not wishing death on the oppressor. They're not wishing death on the people who are tearing up the community and causing destruction. In fact, you protest that. But because a man had a particular opinion that you didn't like, talked from his perceptions and the perceptions of a lot of us men, now you want to celebrate his death. And I don't want to say too much because, I know, we want to keep your channel going strong and I don't want to be too controversial. But this is just a reminder of what I've said for many, many years, that this creature, and I'm not saying all, kosher, I'm not saying all, but this creature really HATEs you and wants to see your demise because you are saying a lot by celebrating the death of someone who has a family, who has children, who had a life. If you think his death is a beautiful thing or something to be celebrated, that tells me that you are beyond evil and certainly irredeemable to celebrate something like that. We're not talking about somebody who committed crimes against you. We're not talking about somebody who personally hurt you. You'll forgive somebody that, hit your car or somebody that you fought against, but because somebody disagrees with you. And rest in peace to David Carroll, because he would always make this point. And if KS is really dead, that's the second great one we lost. KS was great. Brother David Carroll was great. But people will wish death on David Carroll because they disagree with him. And again, all this is systematic of a warped mind and a dangerous mind. And these individuals, or these types of individuals and this demographic who celebrate his death, that should let you know that you should stay far away from them, because that's bone curdling. Listen, a lot of people would do video after video about Kevin Samuels. And this is where I'll come from. I'm not the type of person that wants to do videos, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I was just never the type of person that wants to do a video getting credit off somebody else's name. And that's fine, anybody else who do it, right? I never had anything good or bad to say about the man. But if I had something to say about the man, it would always be good. I disagree with the idea of the marriage thing that he was pushing.
Right.
But never in a million years would I wish death on somebody like that.
Right.
And I never wanted to like mention his name a whole lot, because honestly, I did feel just a little jaded that he didn't come through and rotate with Black Ram after, when, he had less subs than me.
Right.
I felt a little jaded, but I didn't take it real personal.
Right.
Because hey, you blew up, you're a busy man.
Right.
I'm not gonna trip. And I didn't really feel like it was in order for me to reach out to him because he's a busy man. Hey, I feel like you could probably came through. But despite me disagreeing with his marriage push, despite me feeling just a little jaded that he didn't come back through my little bitty YouTube channel, not in a million years would I wish death on the man.
Right.
And again, it was very personal for me when he did the video suggesting colognes based off my personality type and the times that we've shared panels together. No matter how I disagree with him, guess what, Kosher? No matter if I disagree with him, no matter what, if he didn't come through my channel like I would have wished him to, he's still another Black man.
He's still another Black man.
Still a brother.
Still a brother.
Still a brother. And essentially now, not 100% the same message. We essentially have the same message. So these same people who are celebrating his death will celebrate my death and yours and everybody else in this room listening to us. They too will celebrate your death because that's what they want to see. Because we disagree and have a viewpoint, Kosher. Right. Because we see things different. Now listen, I'm called somebody who HATEs BWs, and I don't. I say all the time, Kosher, I would like nothing better than to see Black men and women together in relationship, not necessarily legal marriage because I'm my religious thing, but anyway,
I understand. Yes, sir.
Strong relationships in excellent schools in clean, safe neighborhoods. That's ideal. I don't want the destruction of a whole group of people,
right? Because
your life is different than mine and we don't see eye to eye. But before I just shut myself up and I'm gonna get off here, I just want you guys in here to do a couple of things. Number one, understanding that life is short, and even shorter for us as Black men. All right. Take time out to try to enjoy your life. Life shouldn't be about all work and no play, although we are responsible, but take time out to enjoy your life, man, because life is short. I don't care how rich you are, how famous you are, when death comes knocking, you got to answer that door. So get your spiritual house in order and be ready for anything, right? And I hate to be so cryptic, but this is the subject.
No. You can go ahead, man. Listen, I know you talked about the esoteric many times, and you talked about the dark side. You and I talked about being behind the shadows.
Absolutely.
And, we know, and I talk in code, that we're living in perilous times according to the scripture.
Absolutely.
We're living in some will call the last days, and this is confirming it. The gospel say that they won't love the truth.
Absolutely.
And see, the death of Kevin Samuels, it's the death of Kevin Samuels, the new hate of truth. And it appears, Black Ram, that it is. It appears that truth is a new hate.
Yeah.
Up is down, Black Ram, and down is up. And I tell these men, I plan to do a show with Taylor Made Dreams at some point. I tell these men to start living your life on your own terms. Shout out to Al Grease. Al Grease is coming out with a movie called Frustrated 3. And, you'll be surprised, Black Ram, the level of, when I tell men about world travel and living their lives on their own terms, about male empowerment, folks get mad, subs will drop, folks get in the damn feelings. But when you present them with the evidence, they don't want to hear the evidence.
Right.
And, Frustrated 3 is coming out soon. And it's going to be talking about some of the same things that so many men are dealing with. But Kevin Samuels was an icon to a lot of men. And,
absolutely,
like you were saying, man, content creation, I keep telling these guys, it's hard. And I remember Kevin would say several times, Black Ram, he would say, my doctor told me, start drinking more water and, put these Red Bulls down. So I don't know if there's a correlation between that, but I'm telling you, man, that are content creators, start taking care of your health. Start getting your sleep. Drink plenty of water. Get away from toxic men and get away from toxic women. But definitely get away from women that got the spirit of the hyena. because they're not going to change.
Absolutely.
Black Ram, I talked about it earlier. That's the byproduct of a condition called delusional personality disorder. They think that what they're thinking is right. Mm-hmm. And so just like Jezebel had issues with Jehu, some of these women have issues with any man that has a vestige of masculinity. Mm-hmm. And it's a sign of dark times. But what do you think about this darkness that you're seeing, man, permeating now? What's your take on this? The
scripture says that in the last days that, people will lack natural affection. Mm-hmm. And it's troubling to see how evil the world has become that we're living in.
Right.
That somebody will have so much venom and vitriol for a man having an opinion. And never have I seen anybody in this space wish the demise of the subject that you're talking about, the demographic that you talk about. None of us say anything like that, but you would think that that's our spirit. But what we see is that it's their spirit. Mm-hmm. They wish our demise. And that's I wouldn't even say it's hurtful because I'm not invested in that particular demographic like that. But it's just a warning and a lesson that although we talk about these subjects, they wish that we were all in our graves.
Sure.
So keep that in mind.
Right.
So I'm gonna get off with that, Kosher, man.
Much love, man. Much love. Thank you for trying.
Let me speak about this, man. And
yes, sir. Well, real quick, the young lady being a beautiful said he did pass away. A family member confirmed it. So
that's what I'm hearing. And my last thing is that again, I hope by some chance that it's not true, because I definitely wouldn't want to see the brother go. Definitely entertaining, and he has a life, and he's a person that is a bright star. And I would hate to see or hate to hear that star is actually extinguished. So wherever he is, if he's still alive, we would be thankful for that. And if not, we would celebrate the life that he had, not because we all agree with everything he had to say per se, but because he looks just like us. And
yes, sir.
And that should be reason enough, brother.
And that should be reason enough, no doubt, man. Black Ram, I love you, brother.
Love you
we'll
too,
do
brother.
a show again, man. Keep pushing forward, dog. Keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother.
You're good, man. All right. Chris Strongheart, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother. You got me.
I got you, man. What's your take on the untimely demise of Kevin Samuels and all the vitriol associated with this alleged death? They're saying that it is true that he did pass away. And I got the news at 6 o'clock from a colleague that's close to Mr. Samuels. And I don't know what to think, man. I don't even know I don't know how it's hard to process it, man. The more I'm thinking about it, it's really hard to process. I just listened to the man earlier today. But, life is so brief, man. Life is brief. And Chris, you and I are going to be in Frustrated 3, the movie Frustrated 3. And some of the same frustrations that Kevin Samuels talked about as it relates to a lot of men, you have been through those frustrations. But in part, what's your take on the untimely death of Kevin Samuels, and what did he mean to you as he sought to pontificate truth in a time where truth appears to be dead?
Well, first off, I want to apologize in case I sound a little under the weather. My allergies is really, just kind of kicking my ass right now. So I apologize for that. But in regards to Kevin, this is unfortunate if this is really what it is right now. Kev meant a lot to a lot of young brothers who were trying to figure things out. People who are not even familiar with the manosphere in general were still hearing about Kevin Samuels. They were still hearing about the work he was doing, his ministry, if you want to call it that, you know what I'm saying? Some would say that Kev was doing the Lord's work. Kev was out here giving young brothers a mentality that is helping them to be stronger. Some would say a lot of the things that they was gaining off of Kev was stuff that a lot of them would say, my daddy never taught me this. Well, it's just like, well, yeah, because your dad was under the same, we'll call it teachers of the gynocracy, just like everybody else was. So I would tell them, don't be mad with your dad or your father, whatever. It's just, he was lost too. See, now there's a lot of this information that was coming out based off research that now we could all group together and compare notes and actually talk about, hey, I've been going through this. Yeah, me too. Okay, so it's not just me. So we're able to compile notes and talk about a lot of things, which is a lot of the beauty of the manosphere. And then also Kevin Samuels, who got, shot up to, a level of celebrity, basically. And, it's unfortunate, if this is confirmed to be what it is. Of course, I was watching this stuff all the time. He meant a lot to a lot of brothers in the space. I first heard about his works from actually Donovan Sharp, who would talk about his style stuff a lot. And he talked about how he helped him, ramp up his studio, ramp up his appearance. Matter of fact, even for my little setup right here, right now, the whole advent of doing the different colors and understanding my lights better and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie if I would be lying if I'd have said that, I wasn't inspired by Kev, you know what I'm saying? Understanding how to do everything just right, camera angles and little stuff like that. Cause I started to see Kev do it. And then you started to see how the impact of his channel started to grow because of his production value. So those are one of the things that I also, was picking up, and I was watching his moves as well. I went through my fair share of drama, things that I learned from Kev, things that he was able to teach me about how to have a mentality of someone who values themselves, because we'll get into this debate about what is a high value man and stuff like that, and who is and who isn't. Overall, the metrics and the numbers is really just to give something. It's really something like to feed the sharks, so y'all can actually have some tangible stuff to eat on when you try to come after them. But honestly, when it comes down to valuing yourself, there's not a real price on that, because you'll carry yourself with a whole different mentality. And that was the thing that, Kevin, a lot of guys were noticing, is that a lot of men don't value themselves, which is why they would deal with put up and bend the knee, to any woman, really. You know what I'm saying? That, men really wasn't having a lot of standards for the woman they was dealing with. So, the work of the manosphere, Kevin Samuels blowing up, and all of this to get to this point, if this is confirmed, which people are saying it is, it's very unfortunate, because it seems like every time we get somebody who can be respected, put up in a high category and within the Black community, it almost never fails. They wind up dying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why even Tariq Nasheed, you look over at Tariq Nasheed, he says it all the time. Don't call me y'all's leader. I don't want to wind up dead. Because, and I don't want to speak ill of anything that may have happened. People are already starting to throw different speculations out there, may have been related to the, some say the Red Bulls, some say it was, Vax and stuff like this. Now we're getting all these different, reports of what may have took him down and stuff like that. Once again, it's unfortunate. To me, 56, even from my standpoint of being 33, to me,
he was 50, he was 53. He wasn't 56. They said 56.
Okay, not 56. Okay,
but he wasn't 56.
Right. Still, to me, like I said, it's still young. You know what I mean? And like, he just did a live, like 18 hours ago. If you check the videos right now, he just like 18 hours ago or something. He just did a live, and it's just like, because I just came out the movie. Actually, I just went to go see Doctor Strange. I just came out the movie, and I was looking at reviews on that, and I saw somebody else. What got me? I don't know if y'all keep up with sports much. I saw Ticket TV do a live, and he said on his thing, said Kevin Samuels passed away. I said, nah, at first I tried to ignore it. I was like, that's somebody talking. I was like, wait a minute, that's Ticket TV. He never talks about Kev. I was like, I didn't even know he knew Kev. I was like, this might be something. Started looking into it, started picking up the information, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is this could be serious. So it's unfortunate. And for all those hyenas, like you call them, out here want to dance on his brother's grave, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry, because the movement's already started. It might get even worse for y'all now. It ain't safe for y'all now. It's even worse for y'all now, because Kevin Samuels is going to go down, and he's going to be known for one of the voices that was real big in the movement of men regaining who they are. So it ain't safe for you hyenas. I'm not even worried about that. They can dance and have their day. It's all good. We ain't worried about it's gonna get worse for y'all now. It ain't safe for none of y'all. It's gonna get worse because now they're gonna start. Kevin Samuel's name is about to blow up now, even more. If this is what it is.
Chris, hold tight, son. Hold tight, Chris. I'm gonna bring it right back, guys. Brothers in the back, y'all, give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, guys. I just got breaking news. I got it. Give me 1 minute. Hold tight. So, to the 363 that are watching, I just got a text from a colleague of mine, and it has been confirmed that Kevin Samuels did indeed pass away. It is breaking news, and it is confirmed he is dead. So, yeah, only I can say, man, love yourselves, man. I don't know, I'm speechless, but he's dead. And wow, it just brings credibility to the brevity of life, but also it brings credibility to you being humble and you being concerned about your life and your time on this earth. So yes, gentlemen, it's been confirmed. My friend just confirmed it, and she confirmed it from another brother. Kevin is confirmed to be dead. So yeah, and you're right, Chris. It's a damn shame, man. Almost like Judas and the Messiah. Anytime we get any iconic person or iconic figure,
every time
something happens to him. I don't know if something negative happened behind the scene, or if it's, maybe he just overworked himself. I don't know what it was, but he did used to talk about, the doctor said that he needed to be on those Red Bulls because they're stimulants. And I don't.
Rest in peace to Charles too.
Right. Rest in peace to Charles, man. Give me a minute, Chris. J Bra, how you doing, brother? How you doing, sir? How you doing, brother? Can you hear me? JBWR, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine, brother.
How you doing, man? What's your take on this? On the untimely death of Kevin Samuels? And to the people that are listening, if I have not read your super chats, thank you to Clement Gray. I'm not trying not to read them intentionally. We're just gonna let the stream go. To the people that donate, thank you kindly. I'm grateful for all the people that have donated. But what's your take on the untimely death of Kevin Samuels, and what he meant to you, what he meant to masculinity, and what he meant to helping a lot of men to see things from a different angle? Because true to form, as I said before, JBWR, we don't have to agree with all things. I don't agree 100% with all the men that I listen to. But Kevin actually personified, or more or less reverberated, what a lot of men have said in the past. And Kevin had a unique way of repackaging it and more or less presenting it in a way that resonated with a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. Right.
Talk to me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, by the way. This is so tragic. So many times I've had so many conversations with men, my brothers, my cousins, even coworkers, man. They couldn't find the words to express the frustrations and, the shortchanging that they've experienced in this world, man. The difficulties with women, their position in life, they just couldn't find the words for it. Even myself couldn't even put together a proper sentence to properly express my frustrations in this world. But Kevin, he so beautifully expressed it in words that not just men could understand, but women could sympathize and then be able to understand, or at least have some comprehension of the not just emotional states, but the physical stress that men have to go through in this world, man. I mean, that voice, that light has been dimmed to a degree, and then you got people out here, making light of it, man. And it's not like they're making light of the death of one man. They're making light of the death of a voice of many men, men who just didn't have the courage to stand up and say, hey, man, yeah, I think I got a raw deal. I think you could treat me better. I think, we should have standards. I think we should have principles in this world, man. There's people making light of that. And I think that's horrible. And it's just like you said, man. It's like that's how you know that the end is near, man. when the truth becomes, disdained. When your voice is being silenced for foolishness, for financial gain, for sexual gratification, to belittle your brother or your sister, man, for your voice to be just silenced in such a way, man. I think it's tragic. I've been a big fan of Kevin, not just because he was able to say words I couldn't say, but because he was able to say words that my brothers couldn't say. Couldn't even put together a sentence, man. It's terrible, man.
Yeah, man, it is, man, and yeah, man, and I don't know what to think about it. I don't, yeah, wow. James S., man, how would you like to add to the conversation, man, about the untimely death of Kevin Samuels?
Well, first off, I'd like to know if we can give him a moment of silence before I speak.
Yes, sir, we can. Are you there, brother? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
So, first off, Kevin is first of all, he's an amazing man, right? And I follow the man's work since day one. Never met the man, but I can say it is critical for us brothers to understand that anytime you see a black man come on this space and speak in a significance of grace, the importance of black male image, the importance of black men being strong, unified, and holding themselves not only accountable, but to grow, to reach newer heights. Appreciate that. For the simple fact that we know in society how we have been outcasted, left alone, not had the support or even the backing of our own within our own community as young boys and even as men. I think the importance is, as we move forward, is that not only that we take it to another level, but also remember that, yes, we know life is short, but we also need to truly remember how important it is that we support one another and really, really gather and unite to have a strong front. Because at the end of the day, I'm an older millennial, but I know there's a lot of young Gen Zs that didn't even get to experience a lot of Kevin Samuels. And I think the most important thing is that we can send those videos and have these conversations with them so they can carry on and keep it moving forward, because it's important, man, that we maintain the power and significance of our image as black men. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Wow.
And I have one more thing to say, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
For the sisters who find this fascinating in a demonic way, remember, you are the same women that ask men to be leaders, be father figures, to be the strong image of the community. But at the same time, you mock a man because of his opinion. There are many men who are far more destructive. And Kev's not even destructive. Men who would murder, pillage, destroy, and create chaos in this world. And for you women who don't understand that, I hope you beg and ask God for forgiveness, because men such as us that speak on this panel understand how destructive this world can be. So therefore, if you can't handle an opinion, please don't ask for protection.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think a lot of men, man, are beginning to see the writing on the wall. I did a show a while ago talking about a remnant. We said that it was just a remnant. And men begin to see the writing on the wall, man. And, you know, regardless, like I said, if you like the man or not, the brother had a message. Regardless if you say he was arrogant or I just can't. I was just listening to the man today, man, a couple of days earlier, listening to him in my office earlier. And my friend hit me with the news, man. And that's why I tell men to live their life on their own terms. Chris Strongheart and I, we're going to be in the movie Frustrated 3. They rejoiced when Charles Tyler passed away. They rejoiced when, I can't think of the other brother passed away, David Carroll. So anytime men are speakers, they speak the truth. Or something negative happened, they laugh and rejoice. And it's okay. They're showing their true colors, but a day is coming. A day is coming, and it's coming soon. Because y'all can laugh and mock, but everybody got to stand before God at some point. And you better pray that you're ready. Mocking and laughing at the death of Kevin Samuels is not going to change your fate or outcome. But now with social media, some of the women that are laughing, you're proving your evil and your pernicious behavior. Men are taking notes. Black men are taking notes. And black men have already checked out for the most part. American men have checked out. It's not a black issue. It's an American issue. And judgment is coming. And I'll leave it at that. Dollar Will, how would you like to add to the conversation?
Yeah. I wasn't a personal friend or anything of Kevin Samuels, but I shared a lot of, been in the same black manosphere spaces as him, dating back to 2016, 2017. A lot of us got to know him from these long overnight sessions on BGS Itmore's channel. We run these 8-hour sessions from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we were in there deep. And we were talking about all of these different things that Kevin kind of synthesized. And we discussed it for a number of years. We talked about of course, black men, black women. We talked about the various conflicts among black men, the class divide, the Pookie and Ray Ray, all of that, everything. We hashed it all out, fought it out. And Kevin, he was there. He showed up. He represented Greek letter organization brother, Christian brother, corporate brother, suit wearing brother, and he stood on his square the whole time. And then when his program jumped off, he was the right man at the right time with the right preparation and the right temperament to be basically the Moses of the manosphere, to carry our message beyond our little group. Kevin Samuels we're going to see this thing ripple. Kevin Samuels we're seeing him, we saw him be basically an agent for change in black culture, because this is far greater than just this little corner of YouTube. The broader black community across America know these arguments now. And it took Kevin Samuels and his preparation from corporate sales, his strong values that he had. His whole life culminated in him carrying this message forward to impact the whole culture. And it was like perfect, because he always talked about finding your purpose. He talked about developing yourself so you can accomplish your goals. He talked about finding the right woman and male friends, and your male tribe, that can also support you and your purpose.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's just, you know, I just want to say in closing, you know, I am also going to tip my hat to most of the brothers in the Black manosphere. You know, we didn't always agree with every point, every detail that Kevin espoused. However, for the most part, everybody, for the most part, most of the overwhelming majority of people held back and didn't let it devolve into petty little arguments and criticisms about small trivial points. We all agreed with the higher issues that Kevin was talking about, you know, and Kevin has gotten a bad rap for this. People kind of portray him as like a elitist with this high value man thing. That didn't come from Kevin, really. That high value man thing is something that really came from women, Black women, because Black women were saying over and over various ways, directly and indirectly, that they felt that they were better than the men that they qualified for, and that got summarized as a high value man, that even the Black woman who was average at best felt entitled to a high value man. So Kevin started challenging them, saying, you need to know, or you Black women need to be you need to know men. You don't even know men in general at all, let alone this high value man. So are you qualified to be what he's looking for? That's the conversation, the way it evolved. It was challenging women on their expectations or their misalignment, and the whole question of if they were better than the men they qualified for. So he played along with their premise that they deserved more, and led them into a discussion to be introspective, to discover that maybe they're overshooting the target.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that kind of got lost, you know, as the channel blew up and everything. And he had to keep riding that theme, because that's what that it was hitting the mark. And I think, I don't think he should not have done that, but I just wanted to make that clear that he wasn't primarily trying to segregate things out into just a high value man. He was talking to women, asking them to see if their list was too long, if their expectations were realistic. That's what the challenge was about, to bring Black women down to earth, to look across to men as opposed to looking down on Black men.
Yeah, I agree, man. You know, a lot of women said that, he brought a lot of clarity to their over evaluation of themselves. That's all he was trying to do. Whether he came off condescending or not is irrelevant. He was able to allow some women to realize that their worth was not always as high as they thought. And a lot of men feel that way, but they were too ashamed to say it. Mel, how would you like to add to the conversation about the untimely death of Kevin Samuels, and what did he mean to you?
Where should I begin? How your brothers doing? Yeah. Well, I remember I discovered Kevin Samuels many years ago through Donovan Sharp when it came to men's image and everything. And that the inspiration right there to up my image game, dress wear, cologne wear and stuff like that. Still perfecting it a little bit, but trying to change up my style for how I usually dress. Look up my game level the way it is, and definitely watching his videos also too. How he got on the dudes so much, and it was very powerful. Because when you start getting into the manosphere, different levels of how men can prove themselves by, stop sitting in your funk, accepting for what's happened, and try a new strategy level. And one thing Kevin definitely brung was uncomfortable conversations when he had to, start telling the women now their delusions and stuff. And uncomfortable conversations had to be had and stuff. And that's what he brought out. You know, I know he talked about, I get what he was saying a whole lot, and it's not what you think it is. He wasn't just talking for the high class men in the higher class bracket. He wasn't just advocating for the middle class bracket. He was talking about bringing black families together, building the black family community, the black family unit more and more. That's what he was really advocating for. Because he saw our family unit wasn't as big numbers as it was. A lot of people was old and single and stuff, especially dying alone. He saw that with his aunt, died old and alone. He saw a couple of females in his past dying old and alone. That's one thing I always even tell some female doing my job when I pick them up, when I hear their stories about how they wind up in the hospitals, I pick them up. And majority of them is they have to have the police break open the door. And I'm wondering, like, okay, where's your husband? Some of them never married and even had kids. And it's very heartbreaking. And some of the dudes also too, like they're old and alone. It's like, yeah, we could be lonely, but are we meant to be old and alone? No.
Right.
Like, like for almost like since the 80s, we've been hearing it from one side for too long. But yet they don't even realize that you're not getting the results that you wanted. For all the groups of women out there that might have that one attractive friend that's getting with the high caliber guys and still trying to live for her success, are y'all really looking at yourself like, I'm not getting with the type of guy she is? But yet you want to get mad at a guy that's telling you the actual truth? Maybe you going too high of a caliber. The same thing with some dudes. Yo, you want to go for this high attractive caliber female, or as they say, the 100 octane type. Are you really fit to take care of that type of woman? Maybe you need to shoot your shots a little bit lower. Everybody has a preference, yes, but you got to also be in reality of your preferences, and that's where he opened your eyes up to, man. And you know what? For those who's laughing, let's go for some of the men and women that's laughing, because I've seen the tweets, the videos. They already making gossip and clout chasing and even laughing about his death like this. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I'm not. I know what I'm saying. I don't give a shit. Go rock the fucking hell.
Right.
I'm sorry to say this, Clinic.
No, you're okay, brother. You're okay.
But you know what? I don't give a shit about y'all, because it's already showing how old and alone and single you are. You're going to be miserable, ran through. That goes for both men and women that's laughing at this man's death like that. And you can see why the results you're getting, and even the type of crowd you're keeping around you, the results you're getting with this shit, man. As a wise man once said, you want to see how your success is? Show me your 5 friends, and you'll see why you're not successful the way you are. And this is what's really showing right now. How people are trying to celebrate this, just the way they did with Kobe Bryant's death. Like, this is pathetic, man. Y'all making him a martyr.
You know what?
The talks is still going to happen, and they're going to continue.
Right.
Stop.
Well, you know what, Mel? The writing is on the wall, brother. The writing is on the wall, and Al Gree's movie's coming out soon.
Exactly.
Chris Strongheart gonna be in it. I'm gonna be in it. And the writing is on the wall. We all are beginning to see it. And sadly, I talked about a remnant, Mel. And I've always said that many men feel like it's only a remnant that are wife worthy and wife ready. And we're beginning to see the manifestations of it now. Guys are already beginning to check out. And once again, you didn't have to like the man. You didn't have to agree with everything he said, but to celebrate his death. You would think the man did something. I mean, he spoke more truth than anything. He wasn't always 100%, but he spoke more truth than he did error. He took a lot of the things that other men said. He had a great way of finessing it and bringing it to fruition. But for people to celebrate it, man,
that's what pissed me off.
It's evil. It's evil at its highest form. Man.
And this is where people show, and this is where they show their true colors, especially for us black men. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We're not taking it anymore. Doesn't matter. The action's already shown. Even if they feel like they got an upper hand now on this on the media like this now, speaking their side of the truth, it's not working anymore because the action's going to show in the real world. And they're going to come crying back. They can go crying back as much as they can, be narcissistic. Oh, dudes ain't choosing me, blah, 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 this, that. You're still going to be not chosen, period. Because look how you acted. When the cameras is off, when you're not in front of your YouTube, you're going to sit old and alone with your drunk wine and your pills to get you off depression. have to spend millions of dollars a year going to therapy more than what you're supposed to be to get yourself together for that right person. Man, Kevin Samuels, thank you, man, for everything, man. I wish I had met you. Some of the sound effects that he played on his show, I actually made some of them for him. You know, I'm a PhD, and I don't need a cookbook. I actually made that for him. I don't expect a thank you for him because I was happy that he used it, period. And I wish I met him and stuff like that, just to shake that man's hand and stuff. Thank you for everything. Your work will continue. It's going to keep continuing through us and your successors. There are some women out there that are thanking you also too. Some of them that are married because of you, Kevin Samuels. Your work is affecting people good, and it's showing. Thank you, brother. May you rest in peace and watch over us. Thank you, brothers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Chris. James or Chris, GBR. Anything else you guys want to add? Is there anyone else want to come on and add to the conversation? Please do. But you know, we've said in the past, guys. I've said in the past that there is an attack on heteronormative masculinity, and it transcends the ethnic hue of men of the man. And you know, Kevin and a lot of these male content creators were trendsetters. You know, and the gospel say that jealousy is as cruel as the grave. And as great as Kevin was in many of his pronouncements, he had a lot of enemies. And you're beginning to see the manifestation of it now with the trolls at a high level of disdain and disrespect. What do you think Chris meant to young men that were fatherless? And how do you think his message more or less gave them the power to more or less live their life on their own terms?
Well, I believe it taught them about how to have standards, for one. You know what I'm saying? For the men who don't have children, it taught them how to not get caught up in the situations where they're going to wind up, you know, getting some little chick pregnant out there in the hood somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's the same things I talk about with my little bro. I say, family, it's not worth it to go out here and lay with these chicks and, you know, talk about getting caught up with babies and stuff like that. And ain't nobody talked about marriage. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already, you know, you out here with these chicks, y'all date for a little while. It's your quote unquote girlfriend now. Next thing you know, you all up in a raw. You know what I'm saying? And now y'all playing with, y'all flirting with disaster. And then neither one of y'all can barely take care of yourselves, right? And what happens when she gets pregnant? What are you gonna do? Oh, well, you know, it's that exactly. That's the type of things that let you know that you need to be in a better mentality, a better mind state. Your mind needs to be more focused on your purpose. And those are one of the biggest things that Kev and a lot of other brothers in this space talked about. Even Black Ram talks about it. You know, yourself talks about it. You know, generally us who are understanding what's going on in this space, we all talk about it. And that is one of the key ingredients that young men did not have coming up. They didn't have the understand the respect the value that you don't have to, you know, bend the knee to a woman just because she's black and things like this. You don't have to put up with certain things because, like, you know, because a lot of times what I find out when I talk to younger brothers is they feel like, oh, because this, now that, because this, now that, you know, just because, you know, she smiled and winked at you, you talked, y'all had a nice day, or y'all hung out. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that now you have to go pursue her and she has to be your girl. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take your mind off of your purpose. Like, just because she says something that like may shame you, that doesn't mean that you have to now all of a sudden, oh, I need to switch up because she gave me a nasty comment or something like that. You know, because not everything is so social media. A lot of these younger dudes, they're not even really having a lot of conversations in person. They're not really dealing with people one-on-one. It's a lot of, oh, well, you know, Instagram, this, social media, that. And I also think that Kev was starting to speak on, you know, teaching young brothers to get out there and actually be more social, you know, because if you got to, you know, dress your style up and, you know, dress yourself up, wear suits or, you know, present yourself better, you're going to have to carry yourself in a way to where you're going to be more presentable to people in the social space. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to go to bars, learn some etiquette, you know, stuff like that. Be able to present yourself better, talk with more clarity, which makes you a better social person. Because so many of these young millennials, they lack a lot of social skills. Even Kev would even talk on the women. He would say stuff like, y'all are socially awkward. You know, and a lot of that permeates over into how the men perceive things, because a lot of these men who don't know better are just following women because they base a lot of what they do off of the perception that women have of them. With Kev, he was breaking a lot of that. He was saying, no, you are solid by yourself. Structure, work on yourself, work on clarity, work on being a better person, things like that. Understand that you can build, go forth and create, and you don't need to have a woman. You don't need to have a girlfriend. You can build, do what you do. And then as a result of your greatness, as a result of you being who you are, a young lady will find you, or you will be in the presence of women that you can choose from that'll better fit what you have going on. You know what I mean? And he was teaching a lot of that. He was teaching a lot of that, understanding, you know, yourself, your personal value, things of that nature. So it's such a loss, you know, right now for us to see this happening right now in the manosphere and in the spaces. But like I said, it's going to get worse now, because now it's not like now we have I feel like we have a stronger reason to fight even harder, because I feel like a lot of these beefs going on in the manosphere, I feel like that's about to be knocked out too. I feel like there's about to be a lot of brothers who say, you know what, it ain't worth it to be beefing with you. It ain't worth it that I feel like you took this. I feel like you took that. I feel like there's a lot of brothers who say, you know what, time is short. We need to get on one accord and make this thing go even harder. Because now I'm telling you that Kev is past. We're going to start to see more eyes on this space. They're going to be like, who is Kev? Where did he come from? That's going to open the door to a lot of content creators who are ready to go in position. And if we network properly and let go a lot of these beefs, there's going to be a lot more of the information that's going to be able to move more fluidly and not have so much drama about who said what, where it came from, and who it is. So I feel like I said, it's finna get worse for these hyenas. It's finna get worse.
Yeah, it's about to get real worse. Hold tight, Chris and the gentleman on the board. I got something else I want to show you guys. Hold tight to the people that are watching. Hold tight. So if you guys, can you guys see it? All right, so yeah, breaking news, Kevin Samuels. They keep saying 56, but he wasn't 56. I don't know why they keep saying that. Hold tight.
Take our time, because there is no one else I'd rather be speaking to.
Oh my God, the number one place for R&B. I absolutely love 107.5 WBLS.
All right, so here it is right here. Can you see it, Chris? Can you guys see it? Hold tight. Hold tight.
Yeah, I can see it.
Hold tight. So what it's saying here, MS consultant Kevin Samuels passes away at 56. Kevin was best known for, as you know, here they go. Anytime, you know, when men say what they want and what they believe in, it's always labeled as misogynistic. But you can have very negative comments associated with men, and is it not misandric? But anytime men say something, it's misogynistic. It never fails. Known for his misogynistic views on women and black women, where many times the women that came on Kevin Samuels' platform, they choose to come. But guys, you're seeing the writing on the wall. The exodus is happening. Frustrated 3 is coming out. We're going to drop it at some point whenever Al agrees, give the word. But Chris, you said something poignant. We don't have time to be arguing and bickering on one another if it is true. But according to friends, according to text, they say it is true. News of his death spread like wildfire on social media, where he's been trending on Twitter. Many users spoke their mind and shared mixed reviews of Samuels passing away. See what they had to say. Ray, the writer, said, I don't believe that Kevin Samuels is dead for the record, but not feeling bad if he doesn't mean, not feeling bad if he is, doesn't mean I'm celebrating. He went out his way to be cruel. What's your take on that? We're not required to mourn virtues he didn't sow, and asking black women, all people to show tact as audacious. What's your man take on what this woman said, man? What's your take on what she said? What's your guys' take on what this woman said, for the record?
We're not required. I mean, there's always going to be detractors. There's always going to be the ones that feel like, you know, regardless, they just going to have issue with Kevin until it's over with. You know what I mean? I mean, even when you go over on Dennis Sperling's channel and you'll have these women come up on the panel, you'll present direct facts to them, you know, stats, statistics, and data. You'll sit it down and put it right in front of them. And what they do, they have issue with the data. They say it came from the CDC. Well, We don't like the CDC. That's the white man's notes. That's the white man's statistics. Like, you know what? You're gonna find any way you can to disagree, ain't you? So for those who want to fall, let them fall. You know what I'm saying? I have a phrase that I say. I say that those who want to fall, you can cast them out and cast them to the lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? Let them stay over there. Let them stay over there. Let them burn. You know what I mean? Because men, we got business to do over here. We got things that we need to work on, and we got the work. You know what I mean? The ministry is happening. That's what's going down. And for those who disagree, they can get the hell out the way. You know what I mean? We don't have to be dealing with and put up with, this babble that they want to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, y'all can get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, the sneak disses and the little stuff that's gonna come out, let them talk. You know what I mean? But that does not change them buying a dog and dying alone. That's still gonna stand. You know what I mean? Because it ain't like men just gonna forget the information.
Right.
It's
Shout
not
out
like
to-
our standards. Oh, go ahead.
No, hold tight. Shout out to Bill Reed for that
That's a
20
bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Thank you, brother.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
To every man that's given, guys, thank you. I haven't, if I have not read the comments and the cash apps, guys, that you've given, I'm forever grateful. But it's unfortunate, man. I'm gonna finish reading the comments. There have been some other guys who've given too. Shout out to MC Recovery and Wellness Program. He says this seems hard to take. Rest in peace. Last night's show was on point. Saved the late out hope family and reunions will make a comeback. And Chris, that's why we talked about world travel. I said the world travel is a great equalizer for helping men become the better version of themselves. Dennis talked about some on his channel earlier, had me dying laughing. But Chris, many talk about this so-called community. It talks about a group, not all, shout out to the good women. They have more or less lambasted black men, have never given them love and credence, honor, and respect. But they say after they had their fun, can save us in our state of peril. But as I said earlier, man, it's hard to process, man. Let me finish reading these other comments real quick. This young brother said, I don't know why people having their opinion. If you're glad that Kevin Simmons might be dead, you're weird. Everything I saw about the man was him being misogynistic, fatphobic, anti-black. He was constantly perpetuating harm and rhetoric and bigotry to incels who care either by the way. And that's another male hyena, a hyena simp. You have a lot of men that think this like some of the women. This young brother said, Brandon Thaxton, Kevin Samuels wasn't the reason why you couldn't get a man. He told you the reason, and you got offended. And I totally agree. Hold tight. And here it goes. He said that this brother, Ernest Owens, said that Kevin Samuels has made a career off of shamelessly disgracing black women for profit. He emboldened the most toxic individual to project and tried harmful narratives about black women, dead or alive, what a disgraceful life to live. And you always hear all the terms about anytime black men speak the truth or say anything that's a reference to truth, they call it misogynistic. And that's why I said, and I coined the show, if Kevin Samuels is indeed dead, is Kevin Samuels' death the death of truth? What's your take on that? And to the brothers is on the panel.
I think you got plenty of women out here living. Well, not just women, but you got plenty of dudes, plenty of guys, plenty of ladies out here living in a fantasy, man. And I think that's what Kevin actually brought to these people. Kevin was actually able to bring these people to a sense of sanity, right? Whereas this unicorn life you think you're living, where you require the best, you deserve the best, especially when you look like the worst. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything, but we have so many people out here living unrealistic lives. And Kevin was able to at least try to meet these folks halfway. But even then, his words were interpreted as being cruel, unkind, shameful. They were met with hostility. When this is something that he was just saying what other people have told him. So if people had beef with what Kevin was saying, they had beef with all these unknown folks who didn't have a voice to begin with. And you got people on Twitter making light of this man dead. Like, since when has it been a good idea to make fun of those transitioning, right? Since when has that been popular?
Well, that's the evil that you're seeing, that I'm both seeing in this toxic world that we live in, man. It's the evil that you're seeing. I'm beginning to see it, and it's also a sign of the times, man. As I said earlier, Kevin Samuels was indeed 53, not 56. But you're beginning to see what me and many other men are beginning to see. Black men are taking notes. This young woman said herself, and she's a woman, she did indeed say that Black women celebrating Kevin Samuels being dead is the saddest crap I've ever seen, and I'm disappointed in us. And she's correct. But anytime Black men speak out and say what they want, anything we say relating to truth is the new hate. Elon Musk said that he's going to make Twitter a place where you can't be targeted for so-called hate when you speak the truth. What's your been take on this so-called calling truth hate?
Well, I look at it like this. It's unfortunate that this is how they want to battle. You know what I mean? They want to try to use the most underhanded tactics. They want to try to use the most, disrespectful, words to say, the most disrespectful opportunity, the most worst ratchet things you could say at a time like this. When this man lost his life, he has a family. You know what I mean? He has children. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that this is the level that they want to go to continue to be wrong shows how many of you brothers who choose to deal with them should seriously, if this hasn't taught you anything, you should seriously start considering changing how you move with these women, because you know who they are and you know what they look like. Because I'm sure all of them hens is cackling now. They loud. They got their chest out right now. So they identifying themselves, and we see you. We take note of you. So for the brothers out here who see this, understand this is the same thing that they did to Kobe. You know what I mean? This is the same thing that they did to any brother who in some type of way stood against their mentality. See, this is how petty this type of situation gets. It's unfortunate to see it this way. But like I try to tell so many young men, and actually, once again, I'm gonna reference Dennis Sperling when he had his video last night, when they were talking about the whole Roe v. Wade situation, where the young lady was battling back and forth with him. She said, "Oh, what? You're not part of the community?" He said, "I'm not part of your community." Right. Because you have to understand that there's a difference out here. Black men. Okay, you have to understand why we talk about SYSBM. You have to understand why the need to know who you are as a person, understand your value, understand your purpose. All right, what's in between her legs ain't your purpose. That's going to come regardless, and it's going to come later. Focus on who you are. If you don't have a purpose, make one. Whatever it is, get to it. Stop trying to be a Madden King. All right? Because she think you pretty and she think you fly, being her little pet ain't going to get you nowhere. That is not the type of lifestyle you want to live. Living up under, excuse my French, a bitch. That's not how you want to be coming. That's not how. She can't teach you how to be a man. And her taking care of you ain't finna make you be a better one. You got to get up and get it on your own. See, the thing is, it's different for us men. All right? It's not for us to be sitting around here acting like we're some, we got to be somebody's somebody's pretty dolls. And as long as we got validation from them, that's all we need. Because all you need is a slick mouthpiece. And damn everything else that could teach you how to be a better, stronger, respectable man. Okay? So, I mean, like I said, these dirty tactics, this is what they do. This is their bread and butter. I mean, even the women that will say, y'all out of line, Iyanla Vanzant, they will put her out. Like I said, whose community are they in? Because they show you right now that they are against you. So to say, we all one community, that's a goddamn lie. And a lot more brothers need to wake up and understand that it ain't the same. They on their own team. Let them be on their own team. Let them stay over there. And you start going for your best option. SYSBM is no joke. This is what it means, and this is what it's for.
Yeah, man, I agree. Awesome, Dre. How would you like to add to the conversation, bro?
It's always a pleasure, Coach. It's been a minute. The brothers have spoken very eloquently on this subject. I'd like to take it from a slightly different perspective, if you brothers don't mind.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, man.
I am of the opinion that we should be grateful, and allow me to qualify, because when we see these loathsome, despicable women who would applaud a man's demise simply because you didn't agree with his opinion, but yet you could never refute it with facts. This shows us if you brothers ever needed more evidence to see exactly what you're dealing with, this is it. So to you brothers, be encouraged and be strong. And as the brother Mr. Palmer said, shout out to him, keep your veins cold. These women are loathsome and they are as foul as they come. May Kevin rest in peace. And Coach, you know, I get a little upset because you know how I get. But I'm going to keep myself together. I'll do a video on this a little later on for myself. But to you, you broke this. I wasn't actually sure. I was actually doing something, and when I had heard it from you, I knew it had, you know, because I saw a couple other things, but I know you don't report and support foolishness. So when I saw you speaking on it, because at first I just thought it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? You know, people don't like him and this, that, and you know, the saddest part of it all, Kosher, and to you brothers and to the chat, shout out to my brother Top Gun and Tim Howard and the rest of you brothers in the chat, you know, real solid black men. To you brothers, the saddest part of it all is that you never could dispute with, even if you didn't like what he said in terms of you didn't like his delivery. If you didn't, he didn't say anything that wasn't true. Either if you disagreed with him, you didn't have the facts to support it. And that's the saddest part. So the women who didn't like him, you couldn't destroy him with the information that you had at your disposal, I guess was what I'm saying, Kosher, if I'm saying correct, because I'm a little upset. So
no, it's okay, man, brother. I think a lot of it just, I think the thing that's pressing to me, man, is a level of evil.
Yes.
But not only the level of evil, you know, the Bible speaks clearly about the brevity of life. You know, not to be religious, not trying to push God, but I did grow up in church, and you know, Kevin Samuels nails in eternity, and money doesn't matter on the other side. That's why I believe in treating all men with equal equality and fairness. Whether you're rich or poor, I don't care about no damn subs or none of that stupidness, because it's foolish. When you stand before God, nothing will matter but how you lived your life and how you treated your fellow human being, but more or less how you made peace with Christ being your savior, if you believe in that. But it just don't feel right because it's the brevity of life. And you're right, Awesome Dre. We're beginning to see witness right before our eyes the level of hatred, the level of misandry, the level of disdain. Anytime we get any iconic figure that's synonymous to seeing men in power, there are always saboteurs to seek to subvert it. Whether you have the hyena simps or whether you have the matriarchal hyena women. And it's sad. I don't even know how to qualify it, man. Because, you know, there were many times I would be traveling up and down the highway last year before last. But you know what? I'm not surprised. You men that are listening, you saw the elections of 2 years ago. And sadly, not all, a percentage of our women didn't vote for Black families or communities. They voted for themselves. You know, Kevin Samuels called it hyper-individualism. And you're seeing the hyper-individualism being manifest now. And I stand firm on this as a licensed therapist. There are a lot of thinking errors. These spaces were more or less erected as a safe haven, but also as a way to give men the chance to speak truth to power. Many men don't go to therapy, Awesome Dre, Chris Stronghart, and James S., because they feel like they don't have a safe haven to tell their story. Anything associated with masculinity is always your fault. And many will gaslight men into silence. And I don't know what to say, man. It's just, you know, like I said, I heard about it at 6 o'clock. I know people that are close to the situation. And then I got confirmations from 2 people that are very close. And so I heard about it. It was like iffy. And then people kept calling me as I began to start the show. And they said, it indeed did transpire, had a heart attack. And that's why I tell men to love yourselves. Awesome Dre, Chris, James S., take care of your health. I tell men that there's 7 steps of male optimization, understanding female psychology, but also male mental and physical health. Getting your rest, getting rid of toxic vampires in your life. And don't argue with dysfunction. Don't argue with delusional personalities. Don't argue with it. You state your point clearly and you just walk away. Because at the end of the day, you men have inherent worth. You have inherent value. And like I said, man, we're living in very dark times. When you saw this woman say something about if a witch killed him, so be it. That's what Dennis talked about in the past when I was on his platform. And it is what you see as the spirit of Jezebel. You're seeing it manifest before your eyes. Many people don't believe in it, but it's real. And at the end of the day, God got a ram in the bush. But go ahead, Dre. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, brother. It's always hard to follow you, Kosher. But I will say this with as I sit back, I wonder if these same women, is that going to keep you warm at night? Is those hateful thoughts and those in those positions, is that going to bring you closer to what you ultimately want? Is that gonna bring you to man that you're still in the same position that you in? And that right there, in the end, Black men will be their purgatory. That's their own personal hell that nobody wants them. They're gonna die alone, just like Kevin always said. Kosher, I'm going to introduce. I just recently got back with my fiance, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's from
Congrats, brother. Congrats to you. Happy for you, man. Blessings to you and your fiance, bro.
Thank you. Kosher, I spent a lot of time alone, and we recently found common ground. And I'm gonna introduce her to the beautiful woman from the Czech Republic. Gorgeous, you know what I'm saying? We were seeing each other, and guess what? She's a Czechoslovakian woman who has decided that she's gonna bet on me. She sees inherent worth, she sees value, and she said, you know what? I'm gonna put my money on you right now for you to be something. And so, Kosher, I plan on taking this journey with me at the lead and showing Black men that you don't have to be anything other than a man in order to get a beautiful woman who sees value in you. As long as you standing on your principles and you build something, you know what I'm saying? You can get these there are women out here who are like this, and I plan to show her to Black men for the upliftment of our people and our race. If these women these women of our race, they have decided, they've made a choice. They've made a choice. They have made a decision at this point. And so we will let them live with their decisions. And I digress to the panel.
Yeah, much love, Awesome Dre, man. Thank you, man. I'm so happy for the relationship that you're having. Blessings to you, and blessings to any man, Black or white, that understand or have more or less gotten in a situation where you got a woman that honors, loves, and respects you, and respect your authority as a man. Karan, that's how you doing, sir? I've been trying to get in contact with you for the longest, but you are here now. What did Kevin Samuels mean to you, man? And what's your take on his untimely demise in this loaded question, but also the level of vitriol that we're seeing manifest as many are beginning to mock the death of this man?
Yeah, peace and blessings, gentlemen. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
My apologies, Kosher. I had a lot going on. I had a lot of death in my family and things, and
yeah, right. Understood.
Well, it's interesting. When I first came into the manosphere, right, and I through Brother BGS, hearing him and Art of Ibor and other Red Pill brothers, how it went, you kind of go through a metamorphosis of going from that blue pill to the purple pill to red pill, right? And as a Black man, you begin to have certain awakenings. And I was fortunate enough to have my awakenings before two very important women to me passed away. First, it was the mother of my children. Then it was my own mother in January this year. And I was able to see the trauma that was done to me as a Black man and grow out of that trauma before they passed and confront them about it and my peace with it. So I was very blessed in that aspect. And I was also fortunate enough to come across brother Kevin Samuels. I knew about him for a minute before he blew up. He was doing fragrance reviews and things of that degree. And seeing his growth as a YouTuber, and the popularity. And I made a comment earlier. It's very sad when you see a man who really just told the truth. He really didn't sugarcoat it. He at times it was maybe a little spicy here or there, for the camera and sake, right? But the truth was there. And to hear and see the celebration of a man's death, and I was taken back because I didn't know it was real at first. I was saying, I just came out of Doctor Strange movie myself, and I was hoping when I went in, when I came out, it'll be dispelled. You have a video out saying, "Hey y'all, they're just trying to get me," but it's sad. Your brother has passed. But fortunately enough, he was able to leave a gift of a great deal of wisdom in his videos and things to other people, to other brothers, and even the sisters who want to listen of how to bury themselves. And it's very sad that women of this culture, of this black culture, and I view it not only simply with the black women, right, but with the black American culture, in particular with the black women, because other women buy into black women's culture as well. I want to make that very clear. There are women who are Latinas and Asians who are white who also buy into the nature of the domination and the humanization of black men. Because when you see these avatars, it's not only sisters doing it. Black men are doing it. The simps who are black men, white men, Asian men, also white women, Asian women. The American culture to dehumanize the black man, a lot of people buy into that, right? So it's not only simply on black women, but the main ones who are the loudest are the black women. And that's very sad because in a sense, it's almost like they're celebrating the death of their fathers.
Right.
They're celebrating the death of a wise patriarch who was saying, "Hey, I want to give you game so you can be taken care of in life." But they're so rebellious. They're rejoicing in the death of man. Many of them don't even know personally and who he himself really wanted black relationships to flourish. And I made the comment saying, remember those who do this, regardless of whatever their race is or gender. Remember those who herald this man's death because they're heralding the death of the truth teller. And anytime in the society when people herald the death of truth tellers, there's gonna be a wave of wickedness. So when they get their recompense, because they're gonna get their payback, black men don't be Superman for nobody. Black SYSBM, focus on yourself and move. Because when that wave come back, because it's coming, all you brothers are intelligent. I know you watch the economy. I know you watch things that are happening. You see what's coming. Do not put on that cape.
Yes.
Put it on for yourself.
Right.
Put it on for
right.
yourself.
Right.
Save yourself.
Right. Save yourself. Save
Right.
yourself.
Let them eat their fruit of their labors. And the fruit of their labors are destitution, eviction, poverty, brutality. And ain't gonna be none there to save them because they pushed away the shield. The shield is the black man. They push him away. They dehumanize him. So all those women, remember them. If they agree to the desecration of this man's name, remember them. Because the time's gonna come around where they're gonna need you. And when they need you, you better not show up. Because the moment you defend them, they'll stab you in your back.
Yeah, man. It just, yeah. The gospel said they should laugh with them in their derision. And many are in derision, but judgment is coming, whether it's on this side or on the other side. We all will stand and must stand before the Creator at some point. And we're beginning to see wickedness manifest before our eyes, guys. I've never in my life, in my limited time on this planet, 50 years, seen wickedness the way it is now. Anytime you present truth, they fight it tooth and nail. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Elon Musk, in lieu of Kevin Samuels' death, talked about that he's going to do everything in his power to allow truth to be magnified. Starting with Chris Strongheart, what's your take on Elon Musk's proclamation about allowing truth to be manifest?
Well, there's a lot of people who are also, trying to rail against what Elon Musk is doing. We'll see, how far he wants to go with it. We'll see what he'll be able to do. I've heard as well he wants to try to bring it back to a point of people being able to quote unquote speak freely. Some talked about him possibly bringing back Trump on Twitter if that could happen, stuff like that. I'm very pro people being able to have their voices, and if they get carried away, they get out of hand, and we have identified who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think having a voice and having an opinion is very important. If Elon Musk is trying to put himself in position to where he's going to allow people to speak more freely without having to worry about the Twitter police, I champion him for it. But we'll see how far he'll be able to go, and we'll see how far he wants to go. Elon is not somebody who talks about his direct opinions very often, so we'll have to kind of sit back and see what he does, being in this position of power. So we'll have to kind of sit back and watch, but I definitely champion somebody who wants to bring back, more free speech and somebody being able to speak and, tell the truth. So
to the gentleman of the watching, what's your take on Elon Musk's proclamation of truth and allowing people to say or have free speech?
I think you'll do society a lot better, because really what's happening is people try to say Twitter's a wild, wild west of things. It is the wild, wild west for wild opinions, but not real truth. When you really speak truth, that app has been built in a way to silence that to a good degree. Are they going to be negative that come with it? No more than what's already on there now. No more than the vitriol you already get now. But to have the ability to be able to speak truth and then be able to stand on it, versus people running the mass, the Twitter police to stop the speak, to stop black men rising in mass saying, "Hey, stop the misandry." No, I don't mind it. I think it's gonna be massive benefits, and I think it's gonna be no more risk than what it already is now. But and even though he's Elon Musk, even though he's a white man, when you're in battle, you know what I'm saying? When you're in war, you gotta take your advantages. You gotta use the lay of the land to your advantage. And as brothers, that's what we need to do. Use this to our advantage to capitalize off of it.
Let me ask you a question, man. Have you ever seen the world this dark before in your lifetime?
No. Dark, no.
Talk about it. Speak on it.
I will say from all my travels and just interacting with so many different lives around the world, it's truly concerning to see how, one, in our community, how divided we are over something that is not that complex.
Right.
What's even more disturbing is that there are so many that hide behind that keyboard and display their inner dark demons and think it's acceptable in society, where at the end of the day, they've painted a portrait as black men as the oppressor, when we know the history, who the real oppressor is. And to be treating brothers as whipping boards, it's just truly disdaining. And I think what's happening now, especially with the Roe versus Wade, and somehow they leaked the information, it's just showing you how society is shifting back to where it needs to be. It's really showing that, even through this particular time, RIP to Kev, that men are really starting to snap out of it and say, you know what, enough is enough. And we need to bring order back into our homes and in this world.
Well, I don't think men are seeking to bring order. The ones that are married, perhaps, but the ones that are single, I think men are just focused on themselves. You see it and I see it, man. Once again, you don't have to agree with what the man is saying, but everything he's saying is what a lot of men think silently. They just don't have the courage to say it. And it just seems very suspicious that this man would expire at such a weird time. We don't know if someone did something negative to him. It just makes you wonder, man. What's your take on
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. That's one of the first things that came to my mind was, the manosphere has reached, BJ said a video saying, has the manosphere reached escape velocity? And it has. It's to the point where it's too big to be ignored. And when it hit that point, one of the most prominent voices that was one of the most prepared for the moment, something happens to him. It seems suspicious to me. Now, it could not be foul play. It could be that time for him to cross over. But still, at this point in time, at this very critical juncture, where it's really an all hands on deck kind of situation for the manosphere in terms of how we're about to be pushed before the world to really begin to move and shape things in terms of policy and the pressure we're going to put on, it's odd for that to happen, to this brother. It's odd for him to, cross over at this time.
Where do we go from here?
Well, I'll speak on that. I just want to piggyback off what he was saying is that, It is odd, to me. I think it's odd. I was saying that first I thought this was a joke. To me it looked like, if this is confirmed, Kev was just standing strong, healthy, what I mean, with other brothers, like the lead attorney and MTR and stuff like that, standing strong, doing his thing, running the stream last night, even 18 hours ago, now probably about 20 something plus hours ago. It's just like, this don't seem right. You know what I'm saying? For all of a sudden him just to be stripped down dead on the spot, that don't, to me, that sounds like, I'm sorry, to me personally, that sounds like nefarious activity. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And you asked the question about, have we ever seen things go through, everything seems so dark and stuff like that right now. Well, I mean, there are many things that point to us going through periods and stages of darkness. You know what I'm saying? The pendulum, like some people talk about, the pendulum is swinging one way, and now it's correcting itself, it's coming back. Because we actually start to see that, the government is starting to overturn things in the government. It's starting to look at this feminism thing. People who subscribe to astrology based thinking, they understand that we're in the age of Aquarius. We're going through a shift. So we're going to go through a place where different peoples are going to start separating their ideals idealistically, and people are really going to get separated within groups. That talks about the whole age of Aquarius situation that we're supposed to be going through.
Right.
Stuff like that. Right. So many things are pointing to that this is on time, and it is weird, but it's also letting us know that major change is coming, and that's the nature of Aquarius in itself. That nature itself is course correcting itself, and you can see that between peoples, between groups, between conversations, in the government. This feminism thing ain't working no more. People starting to wake up. The advent of Kevin Samuels himself was right on time for what was supposed to happen, for what needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that the way he was getting to his notoriety, his fame, and stuff like that was just like I said, like people say, it hit escape velocity. So there might be many factions that might be trying to take Kev down and stuff like that, but his voice is still gonna be, it's still gonna be pushed out here. It's a shame that we are where we are, but I do stick to my guns that right now it don't sound right. It did something.
No,
I don't like
it don't, Chris. It don't sound right to me either, man. There are some wicked people behind the scene. I think he was growing too fast. And yeah.
He was too much of an X factor.
Right. Too much of an X factor, right. And you know what?
To your point, go ahead. My apologies.
Right. And his death goes against something that's more nefarious. And it's oligarchs behind the scenes, and I'll leave it at that. But we got to be careful, gentlemen. We got to be prayed up because these are very dark times. But go ahead, Karan. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's power behind it. He was too much of an X factor to be controlled, and he wasn't a brother. You can tell by how he moved that he wasn't a brother who would have undermined the people by how he moved and how he did certain things. It's very much for Black empowerment. Where do we go from here? Is going up in the South myself. The church every Sunday. Let everybody work out their experience. Let everyone work out their salvation with fear and trembling before the Lord. In that instance here, the brother really said something that you said, Coach, which is he would say what men would think and what men truly believed. But we were programmed from childhood never to say these truths. And it's like, there was a DC animated movie. It was like the Flashpoint, where in this universe they had captured Superman as a boy and put him in a box with a red sun, and they tortured him and experimented on him his entire life, and they crippled him. And the moment that he got a hold of red sunlight, he got a hold of gold sunlight, it changed him. He was able to change the tide of battle when he was finally free, right? And in that movie, Superman's nature was altruistic. And I think as men in society, they cage us with ideas and certain feminist propaganda and things of that degree that cage us and program us not to really think and move as we should. And I believe that he was one of the brothers who were telling people, hey, how you feel and how you think, it's okay, and it's normal. Not only is it normal, actually, it's supposed to be a certain kind of way. And it was the first time a lot of brothers heard that. And he happened to be a great vehicle for that message to get spread wide and far with it. And I think it's upon us now as we go forward to not hide that truth anymore. We can't go in reverse. It's upon every man to, in his own life, to work and better himself, but also putting demands and standards on himself and apply them to others around him, especially the women that are around him. And that might take him into places that where the woman who looks like you as a black man ain't gonna be that woman. She might be Filipino. She might be from the Czech Republic. She might be from wherever. She might be from Brazil. She might be from Cambodia. She might be from Colombia. Wherever she's gonna be from, But you can't necessarily look always for someone who looks like you to be that one. Look for that program. Look for a woman who fits that proper plan of yours. And I think as we go forward as men, we need to remember that. We honor him by doing that, but it's also bettering ourselves too, because also you are breaking that cycle of programming that's been in us for generations to go forward and have a generation that doesn't bear the brutality that masculinity has taken, that we've taken.
Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah. It is, it's, I wish for, my heart goes out to any soul that dies, but it just seems like every time we get to a certain crescendo, something happens. And I talked about it earlier. I knew it was going to happen at some point because he was beginning to make too many inroads. Many of the content creators beginning to make inroads. And that's what happens when you make the enemy mad. There's so many different points, man. Some will say, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I don't.
No, he was shaping major media, Coach. He really was shaping major media. If you look at his stream that he was getting, the numbers on the streams, you have major networks who won't get in that. You have CNN in it who won't get. They got them numbers that he was getting on a regular basis when Ukraine first happened. Only when it was threat of a war did it get as much attention as he was getting on a regular basis. He was having too much control over the fourth arm of the government, which is media. Right. And that made him a big target, not just for, the feminists, but people in control.
Well, you're right about that whole thing about him getting under the skin of the feminists, because if you think about it, Kevin Samuels is up here taking pictures with Cam Newton. What did Cam Newton just get tangled up with? His comments that he said and how they were trying to twist his words to make it seem like he was some toxic, masculine male because of the comments that he made about his opinions on a show that had nothing to do with football, and that the Young Turks, one of the most strongest leftist, political YouTube sites out there, got on Cam Newton's back, and they decided to run with something like that. And I'm thinking, Anna Kasparian, one of the, the main heads up there, who's one of the head analysts, whatever, she's on that platform. She's the main one who wanted to jump out there and start now trying to, keep control of the flock, because the problem is that too many birds are starting to fly out the cage, right? And now they're trying to play catch up to say, oh, what's going on? Like, we didn't see this coming. What's going on? Why are we losing? Why are we losing the hearts and minds of our structure of, the Democratic Party, which a strong of their voting base is black women first, and then the black men who follow them. See, that's where a lot of that comes in. So now if we start to undermine that, now you see Kevin recently took pictures. He was taking pictures somewhere. If I could find it, taking pictures with Cam Newton. So now he's up here with Cam Newton. He's talking to people like what's the name? Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. So he's already up here shaking the tree at a higher level, because now you got Nicki Minaj's attention. You got Cam Newton's attention. So you're making waves throughout the voices or the mentality of the black people or the black community. Kev, and your body of work is starting to make noise. You are change to them. To them, you are chaos. You are a problem. And anybody who sounds like you is a problem. But their perception is that he is the tip of the spear, the head of the snake. So if we're going to go conspiracy tinfoil hat, we got to take care of him, because now he's even starting to make Nicki Minaj look silly, right? Because of what he's saying to her. Mm-hmm. He's allying with those with the likes of a Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that they don't have strong legs to stand on. They understand that now it's getting to a point of critical mass. All right. Y'all can't stop this star from collapsing that we call the destruction of mainstream feminism as it is right now, because it's not working. So there's a lot of women who are even starting to wake up and say, you know what, there's a lot of truth in what Kevin Samuels is talking about. Maybe he's not so bad. Now, see, when that starts to happen, the flock starts to scatter about, go missing, because they're actually starting to come back to us instead of being children of the state. Because that's the main issue that we've been dealing with. Our women would rather follow the government, the Democratic Party mostly, and then men who don't know any better follow them to go along just to get along. They don't stand on their own square because they haven't been taught to. So the system works on itself. We keep black men suppressed by uplifting black women who don't have any respect for these men, and you keep these so-called black women, not all, these so-called black women keep chasing this idea of what they call a European standard to be more like white women, which, check this out, we don't put a European standard on y'all. Y'all put a European standard on yourselves because you want to be closer to who? White women. You are in competition with them, and we tell you all the time, we're not digging your hair weaves and lace fronts and press-ons. You don't need that for us. You're doing that for them because you want to live up to a European standard because you feel it has a position of power. So you're greedy and you're ignorant. And in the wake of your destruction, chaos, you'd rather destroy your own men. Isn't it so funny how all this happens on the same day? Now we can get into it. Doctor Strange comes out, and what is it talking about? The Scarlet Witch, who was on a rampage to destroy what? The multiverse. So she could have what? Her children. Have her ways. See, it was about her and her personal belief as to what belongs to her, her entitlement, which I won't spoil the movie because I know it just dropped. But by the end of the movie, you'll see how she came to light. I'll keep that away because I don't want to spoil it because I know there's a lot of people watching who ain't seen it. But by the end of the movie, a lot of y'all, when you go watch that, you'll understand that that is lockstep with exactly what the main women who are against what we say. They are definitely in lockstep with that mentality of entitlement, and I'll destroy the world and let it burn to get what I want. And it's a damn shame.
It is a damn shame, Chris, but many brothers are frustrated. They're moving forward. Guys, we're going to sign off in a minute. This is a very sad and very dark time, but it goes back to what I said, the brevity of life. As I told you guys earlier, my sister now is in eternity 2 months ago. I've just never seen a time, man, where the world's so dark, but we must band together as men, lay aside all our petty differences, and come together and try to continue to push forward. Men need to love each other, respect each other. We can disagree. We don't have to agree on all things, and that's okay. But I didn't want to believe it, but it's becoming more and more evident that he did pass away. Man, take care of your health, man. Take care of your health. Eat clean. Get your sleep. But Chris, I'm going to ask you a question. You and Karan, and also James S. This is an individualized question. I need you to do it in less than 2 minutes. And then we're going to sign off because I got to get ready for work. But what are the solutions? So this is a part of the show. This is the part of the show where we find solutions.
I think men and
so starting with Chris, we're actually starting with James. He's been silent. Then we'll go to Karan. Then Chris, I'll let you take it home. Starting with Karan S. Starting with James S. Man, your own individualized solution moving forward. In less than 2 minutes, please. In less than 2 minutes before I have to go.
I think the solution is here now. I think after seeing the heathens come out, I think in the next between 24 to 72 hours, you're going to see a roar of men have private messages, put their egos aside, and really go full force. because of this, it's going to force men to realize the bigger picture. And I think that alone is probably the greatest thing that Kev may actually want to see. That men actually, black brothers especially, step their standards up, raise their bar, and really say enough is enough. And I think that once that happens, I think you're going to see a gauntlet of brothers really take off. And this time, we ain't going backwards.
No doubt. Much love, much love. Karan, that's in less than 2 minutes, but we're gonna take it home. In less than 2 minutes, Karan. Go ahead.
I appreciate you having me on, Coach. And again, we will link up. Hit you back. But you know, one of the ways forward is, like the brothers mentioned, in the next 48 hours or 72 hours, there is going to be a craft unity. You know, I think it's going to be a flashpoint where you're going to see a coming together, I believe, of the Black Manosphere, and understanding that they have a goal bigger than themselves. And I believe you are going to see a lot of egos pushed aside. And it's going to have the opposite effect that many of these Scarlet Witches are going to want. Because I love that knowledge I was used, because I just came out, I just left seeing that movie. And it's spot on what that movie is about. You could replace, you could replace that character with what we know about some of the sisters, and it would fit perfectly. Because it's about entitlement, how an entitled person with power can destroy entire universes, right? And as I believe the brothers are going to really unify that since our own Illuminati, you may say in a way,
Right,
really
he talked
protect,
about
right, to really protect ourselves and our goals and ourselves as Black men. And I believe as Black men, you're going to see a powerful union going to come out of it. And I believe as individuals, we're going to continue to build our purpose, build ourselves, and do what's best for us, but also not only ourselves. I believe there's going to be an ingrained brotherhood to look out for the brother next to you as well. And I believe that's going to be the first big step forward, despite what's happened here. I don't believe the brothers, his work will not be in vain. I'll say that. And I appreciate you for letting me on, Coach.
Much love, much love. Chris, I'm taking it home, man. Many have been frustrated. You and I both are being frustrated. 3.
Thanks.
All right, Chris, take it home for us, man.
Well, first off, you know what I mean? Shout out to the legend, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Charles Tyler, you know what I'm saying? And now rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, as crazy as that sounds. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to every brother that ever spoke out for his value, his purpose, and ever had the inkling to dare speak out against injustices. So, you know, to echo a lot of what the brothers are saying is that, you know, I feel like this will be a shot across the bow, and I think it's going to wake a lot of men up. I feel like between SYSBM, I feel like between, you know, the Immors, I feel like between those who are MGTOW, those who are general Black manosphere, whatever, I feel like we're going to start to see this is going to be taken as a lesson and show that we can be more unified than we can be divided. And I think that we should take this to show the world how strong we are, you know what I'm saying, and say that, no, Kevin Samuels may have fallen, but we are still here. You know, to use the same reference I was using earlier, like, you know, we can all link together and become strong. We can all be like a Doctor Strange. We can all be like, you know what I'm saying, those who are going to band together like the Avengers or whatnot and what have you to deal with these Scarlet Witches out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? You know, the chaos that they are trying to relish and dance in. You literally saw somebody say, you know, who conjured this up, or, you know, thank her for, you know, whoever, what mistress was dancing and did the dance with the chicken bones in order to make something happen. And it just is like, first of all, how dare you disrespect the nature of the universe? That's okay. It will find balance. Don't worry. We noted that. We'll see you. So above all, brothers, stay strong in this time. Stay strong in yourself. Stay strong in your options, and understand that the manosphere only got stronger. That's it.
Much love and blessings, Chris, man. And yeah, I don't know what to say, guys, but we're gonna take it home, man. And shout out to Tim Howard and Top Gun, James Turner, and everyone that donated tonight. If I didn't call your name out, please forgive me. Shout out to my man Ken Hiawatha for the $10 Cash App or Super Chat. Yes, men, take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Live your life on purpose. Kick toxic women out of your life. men and women. And you know what? Chris Strongheart has seen the light. Chris Strongheart had been to countries where they're not perfect, but there are better options. And as I say, if you can't find your wife here, just focus on yourself, guys, and love yourself, because I don't think it's no help in some of these demented women, man, sadly. A lot of it's unresolved mental illness. A lot of it is witchcraft. Dennis talked about it a couple of times on one of his shows. The Bible talks about it clearly and succinctly. But greatest heat is in you than heat is of the world. And so, guys, this is the final prelude to Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace. Victim of brokenness and despair. A broken man is a hopeless man, and a hopeless man is a very dangerous man. Many times, many of you young men that are listening come from homes that are very toxic and very dysfunctional. And because of that, many of you have deferred your power in many ways, to the point it's led over into your social life, and many times led over into your relationships. If you guys are dealing with mental health pathologies, conscious and unconscious, come see me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. It's important that you deal with your mental health in order to be a better person for yourself, your loved ones, and also your community. But because mental health is often stigmatized, many of you often suffer in silence. Don't be a victim in silence. And see me once again at kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I need you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, It ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male. And male mental health is one of those elements that's paramount to the functioning of a man. Be well.
Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep. Like Jon Snow, get R.I.P. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. Just me, myself, and I'm my favorite threesome. The cars I drive by, I never lease them. They say if you can't beat them, then you join them. That's no option, I don't join, I always beat them. I was fake, it had to find me. Now I'm on beat, skating like I'm grinding. L hit me, said it's all about the timing. If you want the vision, get to spinning. My mama told me trust in God, it's never limits. Now I'm on the scoreboard, running up the digits. I put in work, you know I'm up to get it. Early bird gets the worm and the Yankee fitted. Like whoa, bags under my eyes and you know. Won't complain, I'm tired, I'm on go. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. For that grip, 10 toes till they swole. Remember those days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need that energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. I was starving, now I'm eating till my belly full. From up north, we get cold, you need a heavy coat. Scared to end up on the shirt before it's centerfold. Devil on my back, target on me, belly too. Play the keys, don't tweet. It's my peace, don't speak. 24, no sleep. This is real, no tweet. My bros for life, can't break this late. Family on my side, baby stay around me.
I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want this. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
Want that combo, better know you'll need a check from me. Can pay to play the sun, it still won't get a cent from me. I mix the fit up with the side like it's a remedy. I mix it up inside the pot, watch it drip while it drop. Time to take it to the top. Chips all in the middle like it fall, no I won't flop. We gon' pop like a soda can top. To me this is nothing, call my bluff and I won't stop when I flex. I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I want the checks, yeah.
I don't want the second, I want best.
I want best, yeah.
By any means, that's a triple threat.
A triple threat.
Yeah, this is getting bigger, I might
flex.
I don't want no combo, I want checks.
I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess. I don't want no combo, I want checks. I don't want the second, I want best. I'm all in my head, swear I'm a wreck. I've been moving like a hot mess.
That money clip us, not a new, not I hit recorded, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, finished friends on my face. Looking like I'm from the deep, these no Cartiers. Pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my seat, bro. Do you, I'm doing me, bro. Making noise, use a beat, bro. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Neighborhood on the scene, neighborhood on the strip. Neighborhood be the name, neighborhood no crib. Neighborhood that's me, neighborhood that's Nick. Neighborhood do the dance, neighborhood do the dip. Okay, thought I'd never make it like no way. I'm the real deal, no role play. My days off, that's no days. No, I hustle hard, young rose. E be the shooter, that's cold case. Those on the deals, that's brose. Got no pay, don't no say. Okay, this the new, tell them read it. Been the one since the fetus. Don't sleep on me, Tempur-Pedic. That's a no, no, no. Spending dope for no reason. Got a ball head, Mr. Cleaner. Heard the big bags overseas, then we gon' go, go, go. Whoa, I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I press the button and the doors go off like, whoa. That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. They know, 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 they know. Tunnel vision when I hit the holly. Working on that cause my mind is on an island. Told my babies I'll be homeless, so don't stay up. Breaks my heart to see them sad, so I won't wait up. Need it all that's mine, I need it now. I lost my patience the same week I lost my smile. My baby pressed me, said I'm acting like a child. I took some L's, can lie, that really brought me down. I'm so antisocial, but I guess it's type selective. Swear I'll make a change, but for now I just can't help it. Only trusting God in these scars that I've been dealt with. I'ma do my job, time to grind, time to know. They know, 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 they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Why you never sign? You sign when you go live. Stuck inside that bubble, never ever go outside. You don't know you know computers, you're a tech guy. Back against a wall, you gon' fall or you gon' ride. I feel the pressure, foot to the pedal. My dogs, they fed up, my squad won't let up. Those sneakers CDG, hot on step on. My money yoga, the weight is stretch on. I change locations to change the weather. Know when that rain come, got my umbrella. And when my day come, my name gon' stay up. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Pedal to the metal, they know. Gone and I won't let up, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know. Say it for the record, they know. They know, they know, they know. Yeah, they know. Pedal to the metal, they know. I'm not so I'm fed up, they know.
morning. You got me up all cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you've had enough. I'm tired of talking, again and again, argue about everything. You are my darling, let's kiss and make up, I know you wanna touch. You call me every night, call me every day, I just wanna get you alone now. Trust me when I say